My derby name is Rock Hard Candy.
My name is Deanna Victoria. My derby name is Fatal Exception.
My name is Karen Sportello. My derby name is Butcher's Daughter.
My name is Stephanie Lawrence. My derby name is American Just Ass.
My real name is Christina. My roller derby name is Reno. My number is 911.
My name is Celine Dadon.
Hi, my name is Mastodonna, and I chose my name because I'm older, and I don't know, I figured big, furry, from the Pleistocene era, it just sort of worked with me, slow, chunky.
I am Malfire, and when I started roller derby, I wanted something, I guess, to go along with my red hair.
And my derby name is Pissin' Ginger. I came up with that one because when I was little, my parents always said, you know, you're full of piss and vinegar and so on and so forth.
I'm a professional bodybuilder. I lift weights, so I was looking for something that was like kind of girly, but still portrayed like part of who I was.
I have red hair, you know, got to keep up with the ginger population.
I picked that because I went to school for computer science, so Fatal Exception Zero E is the blue screen of death. So that's sort of what I was thinking. My number, however, is not 0E, it's 3566, and it's super nerdy. So in decimal, 3566 converts to the hexadecimal number, DEE, and that's how I spell my nickname.
I chose that name because my father owns a little village meat market, and I work there part-time, and he cuts meat.
I've just been called Reno ever since I was a kid and figured it was a perfect fit to bring to the derby world.
It was actually my husband who said, what about Celine Dadon? A play on words with Celine Dion, who I'm not the greatest fan of, but Celine spelled S-E-L-E-N-E like the Titan goddess of the moon, which seemed to fit.
I got my name basically because of my nerdy hair. And America is the best country ever, and there's nothing swifter or stronger than Quick Swift American Just Ass.
Cheers.
Obviously everybody comes up with a name, and I mean my thing was like I had just gotten out of jail. I mean I think I started playing in a couple months after I got back. So I started playing with names. I think we were talking about like Alcatraz for a while, and then we ended up settling on Connie Baggage. And it was a big thing, like just having something to focus on and like be able to just take the time rather than going out and partying and goofing off and just having fun. I mean, I started to focus on this and get better at this. And it was just kind of like one of those driving forces. It's like, well, now I'm doing good at it, like let's get better at it.
Red light! Green light! Red light! Go! Green light!
My name is Ashley Crum, and I started skating in '08. But my roller derby name is Smashly Crumble. It's just a knockoff from my real name. I was actually engaged 5 years ago, and we ended it. So I got into roller derby, and it was like the biggest thing to help me pick my day up and actually like go off from something that was really down, like a big downer.
Way I've kind of found to figure it out. I mean, it's basically there's 5 people on each side, on each team on the track at the same time.
There are 4 people blockers from the other team, 4 people blockers from your team on the track, and then there's 2 jammers, 1 from each team.
The jammer is the person who gets the points. Basically, to get a point, you're lapping someone on the other team.
Jammers wear their star on their helmet, and every time the person with the star on their helmet passes a player of the opposite team, they get a point. So our objective is to not let her get points, and we hit them.
4v2. So one's offense, one's jammer. Who's the blocker and who's the jammer? Okay, high kicks is jamming. Watch out. 2, 3.
Just like to hit people, like to be totally honest. Like, I mean, that was the most like intriguing thing in the beginning was like, okay, let's just go knock people down. To kind of get away from the drinking, like everybody's got stress, like regardless, and like that was my way to like relieve stress, was to go hang out and party and have fun. So, I mean, this kind of got away from that and just directed the stress in a different way. I grew up kind of more in the country, like that's all there really was to do, is go hang out and drink and party and hang out with people. It was hard to see it as different as everyone else was doing, do you know what I mean? Like, I mean, maybe it was just I wasn't hanging out with the best people, possibly. I don't know, like everything that we did involved drinking.
I probably wasn't a very good, I don't know how to say it, person at that time. I mean, I would just drink with her, and I wasn't a helpful person in that matter, in that aspect. And I also was going through stuff with my ex, so I wasn't allowed to see her very often. But when we did, we would kind of go hard and go crazy.
But there are, like I said, like my friend's mom, Sinful. I've known her since I was probably, like, I think 5th grade. And her daughter, Smashley, that I grew up with, and that's how I know her. They both played for years. So, I mean, they've been there with all the problems in the past, and they're still, like, going forward from here. I don't think that they realized the drinking was as big of a deal as it was, or they at least pretended they didn't and didn't want to realize it. Like, there was plenty of times that I'd come home just like, I remember a day, like I said, we lived in the country, so there weren't street lights or anything like that. I came home one day and was trying to get the keys in the door, and I ended up sitting on the porch crying because it was so difficult to get the keys even in the door, like, at that point, because you're drunk and you're just like, oh, this is the end of the world. Like, I'd fall in the door half the time. At that point, like, I know there's definitely, like, times that, like, I would call myself, like, a professional drunk driver at that point, like, okay, who's gonna drive? Well, I'll just do it, it's fine, like, whatever. Like, it wasn't even thought about. Like, we'd go hang out, I would always drive to wherever we were going, and it was my car, so we'd always drive back with everyone.
She called me with her first accident, and I'll never forget, I was at work and broke down, and it was crazy.
I remember leaving the house, and I literally opened my eyes, and like there was EMTs there. Like, to this point, I still don't know what happened 100%. I had a concussion, and I broke my arm on the steering wheel, which I still didn't, like, at that point didn't know was broken. It was a head-on collision with another car. They think at some point I just drifted over the lane and just hit him. The other kid broke both of his legs. Luckily, he didn't have any long-term issues. Like, everything healed fine. He was totally fine from there. But I didn't really learn from it. Like, I really probably should have just gotten punished more, was the thing. I mean, I got off it too easy. Like, I had a good job, so at that point it's like, oh, okay, like $3,000 in fines, have a great day, thank you. You know what I mean? Like, that sucked, oops, sorry, I felt bad about it, but like, it just kept going. I ended up getting another DWI, which, because was in 5 years, ended up being a felony, so I did do jail time.
And with my work schedule, I didn't get a lot of time to go see Connie in jail. So we wrote, but that was, I mean, we only wrote like twice. And with everything I moved like 3 different times out from the ex, and with my parents, out with my parents, so.
Well, I was almost 2 hours away. So I mean, at that point, like people visiting and things was difficult too, because people are driving over 100 miles to come out there and see. But they did their best.
She's been there for me for a lot. And I tried to be there for her for a lot too. But when she went to jail, I feel like I wasn't there. So it's hard. I didn't get to visit her like at all. But she's like, she told me to get out of that relationship for so long, and it just took me so long to finally realize it. He wasn't like abusive or anything, but he wouldn't let me do anything. Like that was the time that me and a lot of my friends drifted apart, and I'm glad that Connie is back in my life because I wasn't allowed to see her. I wasn't allowed to hang out with any of my friends. He was a correction officer, and he was gone, so when he was gone, I mean, I got to hang out, but whenever he was around, I wasn't allowed to do anything. It was all about him and his family, and he was very controlling. Yeah, and she realized that. She knew he was awful, but yeah, she tried to get me out before she went into jail, but while she was in jail, I realized everything and got out. And then when she came back, we were like back together.
From there, when I ended up getting out of jail, I started taking the time to kind of focus on things, get things back together. I didn't really have the option to drink since I had probation and had to go to things like Insight House, like different rehab programs. I mean, it was like outpatient. I wasn't there on a regular basis or anything. And from there, I started playing derby. Like I started talking to Sinful more about getting into it and dealing with her.
My mom has been a huge influence on both of us, just because, I mean, she started all of it. I mean, my first game that I watched with her playing was when this team first originated. She started with the CNY, and it was at the Utica Odd in 08, and it just blew my mind. I don't know, when Connie started roller derby, my mom, I don't know, mother impact was just, and she had known her for so long, she was just like, yeah, you're gonna be great, definitely there for, the confident booster. She's definitely that kind of person. I don't know, she's amazing.
It's like I didn't walk in saying well, I'm just gonna replace all my partying with this roller derby. I don't think it happened like that. I think it was just something that I kind of always wanted to do.
She came to a few of my games, and she liked it. She just going through everything she was going through. She couldn't start when she wanted to.
And there was just different roadblocks that came from it. So at this point, I was kind of just, like I said, starting fresh and going from there. That I was just like, okay, we're gonna go for this. We're gonna go do this. My friends are there. At least a friend was there. And it just was something that always intrigued me that I wanted to go from there.
Connie has a heart of gold. She hasn't had a sip of anything alcoholic since she's been out. And I give her props for that because it's hard. I mean, especially with roller derby, we go out afterwards, we have the after parties, and she'll go, she'll have a great time, and she doesn't need alcohol to do it anymore. So that's definitely, she's like an inspiration.
Going forward, it's not going to be an issue. I've always been the DD with everything now because, like I said, I don't have an issue going to the bar, but my friends do, and that's fine. It doesn't bother me. We still go play darts and things like that. So I probably still see myself in that same situation as being the responsible one maybe out of it because I learned my lesson, I guess. As cliche as it sounds.
Connie's experiences, I want to be a better person, and with her, she definitely brings out the better in me.